Final question. Are you competing this year?
You have to have that courage. Like when it's your time, you have to jump in that water. You have to swim. Like you have to try. And what's funny is that you're not always going to win. You can't be afraid to be humiliated. And it takes a lot of guts to be able to go through life like that. But if you think about it, the people who are the real influential people, they have been embarrassed. They have been humiliated by others. But if you ask them, do they feel that way? They're like, hell no, I'm just going to keep trying. I'm here not to play any fucking games. I'm here to go get my title back. I'm going to do it, and that's it. I don't care what anybody else is saying. You got to understand, you're going to fail. It's okay. It is what it is. And if it means something to you, you're going to continue to work hard. You're going to learn from those mistakes. You're going to play life like a video game. You're going to have either the option to retry or game over. And if you go through it like that, knowing like, hey, I have no fear of failure, and really own that. It's all about the application when it's the worst. My dad was in the hospital. He had amyloidosis, and it wasn't looking so hot. So I get off stage. I had the greatest time on stage. I get in the car, find out my dad passed. I still got to go to the host hotel where there's a bunch of people waiting for me to go sign autographs, take pictures, and do like a VIP dinner. I still did it. That's being a professional. That was kind of like my worst day, right? That's the champion side, is that you're able to acknowledge what the universe is doing and understand that it is working out, right? And it has to happen not at the most opportune time. You know, like you may want to gain a certain amount of weight or this or that, certain look. You may not have reached that goal, but what did you learn in the process? You are the leading actor, the producer, the director of your life.
What's happening? This is Jay Sean Harris, your go-to video marketing professional, and I want to welcome you to my new video series called the 1099 Mind, where we meet and pick the minds of very successful people in the entrepreneurship and health and wellness spheres. And today, we have the honor to meet and interview 7-time Mr. Olympia champ, Phil Heath. And for those of you who don't know what the Mr. Olympia is, it's the Super Bowl of bodybuilding that started in the 1960s. And since then, there has only been 16 Mr. Olympia champions at the time of this recording. And Phil Heath, being one of them, won 7 years in a row, tying with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I reached out to my local chiropractor, Dr. Craig Banks of Pinnacle Chiropractic, here in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, to film and create a promo for his grand reopening, introducing cryotherapy. Turns out one of his friends and clients is Phil Heath, and he will be there. So I'm going to film the promo and interview Phil Heath. Not gonna lie, I'm nervous as hell because this is my first interview with someone on camera, but I'm challenging myself to get out my comfort zone so I can get better. This may be embarrassing for me, but it's all good though, because I want to pick the brain of a 7-time world-class champion and get a peek of that mentality. And if you want to grow your business using video automation strategies, then you can download a free copy of my strategy guide called The 5 Phases to Automated Lead Conversions. It's in the description and in the comment section. Okay, enough of that. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yo, bro, what did you...
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's go meet Phil Heath.
Hey, Sean, what is you doing, bro? What the...
24 hours later.
So, Phil Heath, welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's great to be back. Obviously 2020 was wild, crazy. It still is, but I think we're kicking its ass. We're ready to get after it. So it's good to meet you guys, and it is cold. It's a little cold. It's a little cold.
It is.
Yeah.
So, first question that I want to ask you is, why health and fitness? I mean, I know it's a fad, pretty much. It's the thing to post on Instagram. People just want to follow fads. But you say you became pro in 2005. Why did you choose health and fitness in the first place?
Well, I've always been into sports, always into athletics growing up, basketball, track, all that stuff. Played Division I basketball at the University of Denver. Thereafter, I wanted to do something because normally you go to college, you play ball. Oh, he looks great, and then 5 years go down the road, you're married, kids, job. Next thing you know, another 5 years, you look nothing like what you looked like in college. And now you're in your early 30s, typically out of shape, and then you're trying to get those years back. You're trying to get that feeling back. So I saw that with some of my old teammates who, once I was a freshman, they were seniors, and I thought, not me. And everybody says, nah, ain't going to be me. Well, a lot of them did. I decided, let me start going. Instead of being in the varsity weight room, I went to the student body weight room and saw all these bodybuilders in there. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. This is also competitive, but there's a lot of camaraderie with it. People helping each other with spots and stuff like that, and sharing knowledge. Because that was back in 2002, so there were no influencers back then. The influencers were the people that were actually appearing in print magazines. So when I started, doing competitions, I just thought, wow, this is a way for me to be competitive, and it was me versus me. And I wanted to basically go in the gym and get a couple things. I wanted to look better, being real about it. There's some vanity in it. Who doesn't want to look good? Look good, you feel good, you play good, all that good stuff. But, you go in there, you want to look a little bit better. You want to feel better, though. You want to feel something. And the gym definitely did that. And then I throw a third thing in there, and that is having the courage to go back. A lot of people, that's why it becomes a fad, because they don't, it takes courage to go in there day in and day out and to do it on your worst day. And I felt like bodybuilding allowed me a challenge that my body is always going to evolve. So I'm always going to have to learn about health, wellness, how food, how nutrition, supplements is always going to evolve. The things that I was doing back in 2002 are much the same, but yet so different. And nowadays, yes, it is more of a trendy thing for younger people. And I can say younger people because now I'm 41 as opposed to when I was 22 and 23 years old getting into it. A lot of things have changed. And for my goals now as a 40 plus guy is, wow, I have so much more knowledge than the guys who I would see at my high school reunion. And it's not to throw shade, it's to actually show them what they can do and to provide the best knowledge one can share other than financial assistance is health assistance. And I think being a pro bodybuilder, being a 7-time Mr Olympia, I'm tied with Schwarzenegger. I've gone through different pathways of understanding the human body, how it works for me, and then meeting people along the way of how it works for them. And just that sharing of information. And we're all in it together, essentially. So you can mind your body like you can mind your bank account. And those things, health is wealth. In a lot of different ways. So it's always neat to meet different people like yourself. You have your own personal battles and adversity, but what's neat is that you're not alone. And what makes it special is that although I'm who I am on that stage, we're all the same. and we all can say, hey, like, what does this machine feel like as opposed to this one? Oh, I was thinking about doing this workout or this diet. What do you think? And you probably won't get that same, let's be honest, you're not going to get that same interaction with other pro athletes in different sports. You're just not. You're not going to have that access. So, to hit up LeBron James and be like, hey, like, how do you hit that corner three, or how do you do that crossover, Steph? Like, how do you do that? You're going to have to go to a camp. You can't be a grown adult just rolling up on someone like that. You're not going to see these guys at LA Fitness and this and that. But pro bodybuilders, we are so accessible. So I think what's really neat, too, is that a lot of us, like myself, are very chatty about this because we love it. And we just want to share. Yeah, it's great.
That's cool. And you were talking about challenges, facing challenges, and you're talking about wealth also. Health is wealth. But that's a good segue to my next question. Now, years ago, I read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And I want to ask you a question. You say you're 41. In the book, he said people generally reach genius level in their 40s. How is that? Is that true? Like, do you feel that? I mean, just looking back, I mean, it's evolution, obviously.
Right.
But thinking back, do you think that you have reached that level? I know there's always room for growth, but how can you compare yourself to your 40s to when you were 20?
Oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. I mean, I would say I'm coming into the back 9 of this golf course. So the first 9 holes, yeah, very interesting. But the back 9 is where it's won. And I feel more relaxed. The goal for me, and I'll be honest, I mean, this is a great question. Like, before I turned 40, I wrote my fiance, Cherie. I was in Dubai. I was doing an appearance. And while the other guys are, running around, like, trying to find something to do, go to a club or just that, I was like, they're like, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in the lobby, and I'm writing a note to her, but also to myself, of all of the things that I've learned these first 39 years, right? And what I'm going to take with me into 40. The things that I'm going to, how I digest information. What are my strengths and weaknesses? Where are my blind spots? What things have I done well at? What things have I failed at? And own it. Completely own all of it. And who's wronged me? And it really came down to the fact that I had to decide to be less bitter and be better. And it's easy to say that, especially being competitive. I mean, I'm probably one of the most competitive people you'd ever meet. But how are you on your worst day is how I measure success in a person, like the potential in someone's, performance. What's your worst day? And I do feel that there is that, I would say, I'm no longer a young Padawan learner. Yeah. I'm going into the Jedi mastery at this point, as I should, because I did do certain things. And this has more to do as a man than as Mr. Olympia. But I do think that self-exploration does come with that time, and yeah, it's a very good question. And I'm thinking one more thing is like, you really get so consumed in career or family, and you're gonna have these twists and turns and stuff, and it is that decision that you say, okay, I'm tired of playing these games. And let's be honest, 2020 COVID, I mean, it allowed us all enough time to reflect, to really set goals, to really micromanage ourselves and those other people who are supposed to be in our life in certain ways, or especially in work, but really to stop pointing fingers. And I think mastery usually, happens when you look more inward than pointing fingers. We see it with parents, with kids, with coaches, and this. It's always the coach's fault, or it's always the teacher's fault, or this. It's always my job's fault. But I always tell people, you point that finger, how many more point back at you? And as 41, I look more inward first. and not allow certain things to affect my energy. My energy is everything. And that's probably the biggest thing. And that's why, the creativity being 20 is amazing. I think that's the cool part. The part about being 40, 41 is I can smile when I talk and people know that I'm happy. And I will say that I could be having my worst day and you would never know, because not because I'm not able to be vulnerable enough to chat about them. It's just that I look at it as scars. Like every badass warrior has scars. They have armor, and you could take it to a biblical part or whatever you want, but you earn those scars. You earn that armor too. And that's what I think is very valuable being older. So respect your elders, but also make sure that respect those who have done it. Because there's still those 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds that are still dumbasses too, and that haven't really applied the knowledge that they've acquired along the way. They may have missed out on a lot in that journey. And I know we're talking about this. Wow, it's like, but it's a really good question. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, if I were to say something to myself at 20, is Phil, you're going to see technology take off. Read more. Say less. Read way more and say a lot less, and observe everything. And just play life with your damn eyes. Kind of like a coach would tell, and that's the thing. I play basketball. Play with your eyes. Like, just see what they're doing and figure it out. And always stay motivated to educate yourself nonstop. Read less of this.
Yeah.
Literally, if you can do it, and that's what I would tell my younger self. It's like, if you can get away from it as much as you can and learn more about yourself and own who the hell you are, but also have enough humility to extend a helping hand. I think that's very important, because where we're at in society now, I mean, we say that we help each other, but we're really doing it for an agenda that has nothing to do with helping that person.
I agree.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree. He hit it on the nail, on the head, you know what I'm saying? So another question that I want to ask you is, I am personally getting out of my comfort zone. Right. I'm here talking to you right now. It's comfortable if I was to just be at home. I'm usually behind the camera. Now I'm in front of it. What I'm trying to do is help people step out their comfort zone, because when you step out that comfort zone, you grow, you experience growth. And I just want to get your mindset, because you're a champion. You have a champion's mindset. What advice can you give someone like me, and I'm sure a lot of my viewers, what can you tell them about stepping out your comfort zone and why they should do it? I know I just said why you should do it, but this man is a legend. He is a champion. He has that mindset. So it just hits more coming from someone like that. So what can you say to that?
You truly just have to jump. Simple and plain. I mean, and it sucks. It's like, if I were to ask the average person how they learn how to ride a bike, they'd say, parents got me a trike, they got me the training wheels, and then they finally took, mom or dad were like, with me. You know how I learned? They took the wheels off. I was at my friend's house. His dad was a cyclist, and he worked for Boeing, and he would literally ride his bike to work from South Seattle to Everett, there and back every day. And he had a mongoose bike, and I was like, man, that's dope. He says, you want to learn how to ride? Well, put that bike down that your dad got you. Use this. I get to use this one? He goes, yeah. You ready? I go, huh? And he pushes me down a hill.
What?
Like, not like that, but like a little slope.
Right.
And like no warning, no nothing. I rode that damn thing. Mm-hmm. There's going to be times where someone is trying to do this. Mm-hmm. That could be your angels. That could be God. That could be whatever you believe. But I think you have to have that courage. Like, when it's your time, you have to jump in that water. You have to swim. Like, you have to try. And what's funny is that you're not always going to win. I could have easily fell and scraped up my knees and this and that. And, you know, I mean, people have. But you can't be afraid to be humiliated. Like, gracious in victory, gracious in defeat. And it takes a lot of, you know, a lot of guts to be able to go through life like that. But if you think about it, the people who are the real influential people, they have been embarrassed. They have been humiliated by others. But if you ask them, do they feel that way? They're like, hell no, I'm just going to keep trying. So it's the person that's trying to become mayor, governor, whatever, the person that's trying to get the girl. Like, how many times you get turned down from the same chick? Maybe a couple times. And then next thing you know, she's like, okay, I'll go out with you. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of you guys, you be in them DMs and stuff. Like, I know. But you don't stop. And I think if you walk into it knowing that it ain't always going to work out, but it is working out. Think about that. It ain't always going to work out, but it is working out. It is actually working out. First time, it's like if I tell you, if you eat like me, you're going to get big. That's a lie. When they read the magazine, they'll say, okay, if I eat the 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 calorie diet, I'm going to get weight and this and that. You know what's funny is if we put our max, you know, reps and weights in those same articles, you would never do that the first day. No one's ever going to squat 500 pounds the first squat session. You're going to get buried doing that. You probably kill yourself. It's a little steps. You know, so you got to understand you're going to fail. It's okay. It is what it is. And if it means something to you, you're going to continue to work hard. You're going to learn from those mistakes. You're going to play life like a video game. You're going to have either the option to retry, continue, or game over. It's in your hands. It's your real player one. And if you go through it like that, knowing like, hey, I have no fear of failure, and really like own that. Because a lot of people, you know, they'll say all this stuff, and it kind of sucks. Like, even though I'm saying this, I've lived it, and no shade, but like a lot of people say this, and you know, people don't realize like they're faking it. It's all about the application when it's the worst. You know, I mean, hell, I was at a bodybuilding show here. Oh gosh, this is about 6 years ago. I'm guest posing for Dave Lieberman, and my dad was in the hospital. He had amyloidosis, and it wasn't looking so hot. So I get off stage. I had the greatest time on stage. Great speech, this and that. Wasn't breathing all heavy on the microphone afterwards and stuff. I get in the car, find out my dad passed. I still got to go to the host hotel where there's a bunch of people waiting for me to go sign autographs, take pictures, and do like a VIP dinner. I still did it. That's being a professional. Those are things that are very relatable to the very, you know, but that was kind of like my worst day, right? Finding that out. He died at 64? Yeah. So very young, right? But life goes on. And, you know, those are those things that I felt like, okay, badge of honor now. Like, yep, things happen. I ain't no different than anybody else. But I was able to get through it, keep going, honor them, celebrate life, keep pushing. And those are things that, like, you're going to have these moments. You're going to have things that not go your way. I mean, yeah, that sucked. Like, I would rather have been by his side, right? But the joy that I had on that stage, it was great. He was probably with me during that time. And that's the mindset. That's the champion side, is that you're able to acknowledge what the universe is doing and understand that it is working out, right? And it has to happen not at the most opportune time. You know, like you may want to gain a certain amount of weight or this or that, certain look. You may not have reached that goal, but what did you learn in the process? And we fail to, you know, it's so weird. But that's why bodybuilding or body sculpting, you know, for your own personal thing is important. The things that I learned just becoming a bodybuilder got me in here, right? I know more about this stuff than probably maybe some other chiropractors because I've done it so many times. That's pretty awesome. I can actually have a conversation on the plane with a chiropractor and know what I'm talking about. And I didn't go to school for it. So it's just the journey. You got to enjoy that, research it, apply it, fail, but we laugh. You know, your friend's gonna make fun of you, but you're gonna laugh it off, and you're gonna have some amazing stories to tell. And I think that's what this whole journey that we're all on this planet spinning around is. It's very cool. Is that we all have our own story. And I'll leave you with one last thing. You are the leading actor, the producer, the director of your life. You are. And that's, I think, very, very cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I appreciate that.
No problem.
You know, this is something, once I'm in an editing room, this is something I want to be playing back for myself, you know. And this is crazy. It's just, I'm taking all this in, and I'm going to apply it. And I just hope that everyone who's watching be able to apply it too. And last but not least, final question. Are you competing this year?
Stay tuned, guys. We got a lot going on in 2021. It's just the beginning of the year. So, yeah, I've got some really cool things going on. Yeah, you got to stay tuned. It's going to be a crazy year. It's going to be awesome.
All right, there you have it. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. And, you know, what I'm trying to say.
Watch his show.
Thank you.
Watch everything, okay? Young man doing his thing. He's got a lot going on, and he's going to have a lot more. And obviously, this first episode, I'm privileged to be on it. Doesn't matter, we just met. But what's important is that when you say for all his friends, if you say that you're his friend and you ride with him, you subscribe, you comment, even if it's bad, you let him know.
Fight me, haters!
On his page. I'm being said because he needs to know.
Fight me!
And that's how he's going to get better. So you fan your friend's flames nonstop, and I'm pretty positive that he's going to do the same for you. For all the other people, thank you for watching. 7-time Mr Olympia. I got to go run to the restroom. Peace.
Yo, what's happening here at the Buckeye Gym in Talmadge, Ohio, getting a late night workout in. It's about 2 in the morning. I want to thank Ryan, the owner, for allowing me to film here to close out this episode. And man, it was nerve-wracking watching myself in that interview. Like, I was so nervous. I was more so nervous that I was in front of the camera doing the interview, because before the video, me and Phil was talking for about 45 minutes. Great conversation. I don't know, it was just a little cringe watching myself, so I'm going to practice so I can get better. It was just a dope experience to be able to pick the mindset of a champion that wins competitions 7 times in a row against the best in the world. You don't get the opportunity every day. It was an honor being able to do that. So yeah, if you guys liked the video, please comment, like, share, subscribe to my channel. I got more episodes that's going to be coming out pretty soon. If you are looking to grow your business, generate new leads on autopilot, you can download a free copy of my strategy guide called the 5 Phases to Automated Lead Conversions. It also comes with video tutorials that show you how to set up these systems so that way you can start generating and converting leads. What else? Again, thank you to Phil Heath for allowing me to interview him. It was a great experience. I'm also rocking one of his shirts, Hero Villain. You can find it on his website. I'm gonna link his store down in my comment section and in the description. So go ahead, go check his store out. The quality is amazing. I want to thank my best friend Denzel Washington, aka Denzel the artist, who helped me film. He was also on the skit where I was in his apartment working out. Thank you again to Dr. Craig Banks of Pinnacle Chiropractic for giving me the opportunity to film his grand reopening. It was an honor to do that. Like I said, it's like almost 2:30 in the morning right now. So I'm about to go ahead and finish this workout. Please subscribe. There's going to be new episodes of the 1099 Mind coming out, so be on the lookout for that. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Yo,
Denzel Washington, my dog, what's happening?
bro, I'm still trying to understand why you was in my room. Like,
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about, but hey, I got a shoot tomorrow at 8 o'clock and I'm meeting Phil Heath. I'm about to interview Phil Heath, bro. You down?
Okay, I understand that, but bro,
Alright, so we gotta be there at 8 o'clock at Pinnacle Chiropractic, bro. Make sure you're there on time, alright?
bro, tell me why.
Alright, bro, I appreciate you, man. My brother, I'll see you.